Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to share about my Japanese wedding with my Japanese husband in, lo and behold, Japan. Now I will be sharing our wedding photos and explaining as we go. So most of this video will be images from Meiji Jingu. Some of them are a little bit emotional, so I hope that you can enjoy the wonderful dynamic that was our wedding day. I can simply say that was probably the best day of my life, and the opportunity to really feel what it's like to be in a traditional Japanese Shinto wedding ceremony. It was such an experience, such an amazing experience, which I'm so grateful to have had. Meiji Jingu has been a place that's really dear to my heart ever since I arrived, to be honest. I remember being kind of sad one day and going off to Meiji Jingu and seeing a wedding, and it just blew me away. It made me feel so emotional. I actually found myself crying over the wedding of someone that I didn't even know. So I think that was the moment that I knew that Meiji Jingu was an extremely powerful and special place for me. And after that, I'd go for New Year, I'd go to the shrine. It was so busy, but it always has such a lovely energy. Interestingly enough, my husband and I both knew from the get-go that Meiji Jingu was the place where we wanted to make our promise, our tie for life. You know, we've had to delay the wedding so many times because of Corona, and I think we ended up rescheduling our wedding about 3 times, but we always knew from the start that this was our special place. So like basically every date that we scheduled the wedding, we'd go to Meiji Jingu and say a prayer. Every special occasion, we'd go there and say a prayer. And so like Meiji Jingu became a really special place for us. Eventually we were finally able to really have the wedding, and that's when the preparations kind of started to begin. I will never forget going in, getting my hair and makeup done. This was maybe a 2 or 3 hour hair and makeup session. And it was literally just so that the staff could get to know me and understand what it is that I really wanted. My Japanese isn't amazing, their English wasn't great, but somehow we just kind of really understood each other, and we had a lot of fun trying different styles. With having a Japanese wedding, I wanted the Japanese dress. I wanted to wear a kimono. I didn't quite know, I've never had a kimono fitting before in my life, but the staff at Meiji Jingu, they were so kind, and they really guided me through the options. There was a point where I was considering, being a Westerner myself, I kind of wanted to wear like a wedding dress, and I did try a few on. But ultimately I ended up sticking with the white kimono, and for the after party, embracing a less expensive and more casual red dress, because I feel like white and red are like the colors that really represent a wedding to me. So I had a lot of fun trying on some of the most amazing kimonos I think I will ever touch in my life. The selection that Meiji Jingu have of kimonos was incredible. And there were options, for like a colourful bride wearing a red kimono or something like that. But for me, I just went simply for a white silk kimono with such beautiful embroidery. It was so much fun to try on all these things. I was actually given gloves to wear so that I didn't get my sticky fingerprints on any of these ridiculously expensive but beautiful kimonos, and that was just such a lovely experience for me just to try them on. Actually, I tried them on quite a time before the actual wedding, so by the wedding day itself I'd kind of forgotten which one did I get again, and it wasn't like a full-on fitting, so I wasn't sewn into the kimono as I was on my wedding day. So I would say that even though I saw and tried the dress before, having it fitted on the wedding day was a completely different experience. It was, honestly, I felt like a princess. I felt different, so different. So finally we could get married, and finally my family could book their tickets and fly over to Japan and be there, you know, and it was such an exciting time because of course it's our wedding day, but it's also the first time for our families to meet, and also the first time for my whole family to be together in Japan. It was really exciting for me, of course, but it was also really exciting for them, purely just from a holiday perspective, plus an experience perspective. Certain family members actually said to me, you know, thank you so much for the opportunity to have this experience, because if you hadn't, you'd never have that insight into what it's like really. You can watch movies or you can like hear stories and stuff, but to be in that ceremony room, to have that feeling, it was so powerful. But yeah, when my family came, we had a lot of fun. My family love Japanese culture. They're very keen to explore it. They love Japanese food. They got on so well with my Japanese family, and it was so lovely to see them all together chatting. And even if there's a language barrier, I don't feel that made any hindrance on the connection between my Japanese family and my British family. There was no struggle. Perhaps they weren't having deep philosophical, literary, conversations about deep stuff, but there was this bond, there was this shared family feeling between these two families, and it was just lovely. It was really heartwarming to feel. I think my family really embraced Japan, not just on the wedding day. Really loved the food. They went off to like Kyoto, they went on the Shinkansen, had a highball, you know, just like really embraced the Japanese way. You know, look how happy my mum looks. She just had such a great time. She was so happy. And it made me happy to see her happy. She loves nature, so we went off to have a picnic in the middle of like the mountains, surrounded by waterfalls, and just like enjoyed beautiful Japan, basically. So all in all, it was kind of like a month of like parties and fun and things like that. And this now, I can say this, which I couldn't say in a previous video that I made talking more about the wedding, but I was pregnant at this time, and I actually found out that I was pregnant a few days before the ceremony, and on the wedding day itself, I told my husband the news. Wedding days are emotional, but I think the fact that that was when I was telling him that we were going to be parents, it just made the whole day really, really emotional. Of course, the wedding day was very special, but I think the fact that it was the day that both of us knew we were going to be parents and that, you know, I was pregnant, it added to it. And only we knew, so it was kind of like the special magical secret that, you know, there was 3 of us getting married that day kind of thing. Like, honestly, I was so emotional. I mean, most of these pictures, I might look kind of like fine, but ultimately, most of them I was just trying really, really hard not to burst into tears because I was just filled with emotion. So anyway, I announced to my husband at Meiji Jingu, and after I told him, I went straight downstairs to get my hair and makeup done, and I'm glad for that because I could just have a moment of just like resting, relaxing, having my face completely just sort of like taken over by these ladies who did an excellent job, and I felt, as I said, I felt like a princess. I finished getting ready and my husband came to meet me, and the joy in our faces, is not just because like, cool, we're getting married, but also like, yeah, I really am pregnant, you know, kind of thing. Like the feeling, it was like electric, you know, it was just so much emotion and so much like, wow for the future that we have. So yeah, a lot of pictures are just sort of us being like slightly shell-shocked by the fact that, yeah, we're parents kind of thing. Anyway, we had some beautiful photos taken from Meiji Jingu themselves. So thank you Meiji Jingu for the fantastic quality photos and memories. We had our photos taken in this special sort of photo area, which my family completely like didn't care about. They just came jumping over. Oh, hello, like they just came and joined. So we had some family photographs as well, which actually turned out very lovely. It was amazing as well to have so many people, just random tourists or visitors of Meiji Jingu, so fascinated by our ceremony. And there was this amazing like hushed silence as we walked through the grounds. Even like foreigners who don't understand Japanese culture could feel that impact that Meiji Jingu has. It has like a spirit of its own, I feel. I kind of felt like I was floating. So yeah, we had some nice family photos, and then we went off to a little room where we were basically prepped about what we needed to do. It was a nice moment for my husband's family and my family to be introduced. You know, my husband very kindly did the name exchange of everyone, which probably everyone else forgot straight away, but just that moment of just like the family being together and being introduced to each other, and then an explanation of what would happen during the ceremony. So they explained how to drink the sake, which, you know, when I found out I had to drink sake, I was like, uh-oh, like what do I do? Having just found out that I was newly pregnant. But she said, oh, you don't have to drink it all. So they told us about the sake, they told us about these sacred branches. We signed our names, and yeah, and then we were ready to go. And so the shrine princesses guided us. They kind of like led us out, and honestly, all this time I was just so emotional, and it was like not only a really exciting experience and an emotional day, but yeah, the pregnancy, knowing I was pregnant was just, yeah, it gets me emotional even thinking about it now, to be honest. And then we went into the little ceremony room. It has such an energy to it. It was very beautiful. Everything's laid out ready. We were given sake from this beautiful gold kettle-y thing. The shrine princesses provided us with sake, and we drank from a small cup, a medium cup, and a large cup. And then the people attending, my family and my husband's family, were also invited to drink some sake. Yeah, then we exchanged our rings. Me trying desperately hard not to burst into tears at any moment. And that was that. After that, we came back out, following the same route that we went in by. Again, just such an amazing feeling, and I remember just saying to my husband, like, this is amazing, you know? It was incredible. Then we had some family photos. I love that my family embraced Japanese kimono. The women wore kimono anyway, and the men wore suits. Some of them struggled like with the shoes, but I appreciate that they really embraced the culture and enjoyed so much wearing kimono. They also said that it felt very different to, you know, a beautiful Western dress. I think kimono is not just about like material, but it's also about your feeling and yeah, they enjoyed that experience. Obviously, we are a Japanese and Western couple, so we kind of did a bit of fusion for the actual day itself. And there we are, kind of dressed up, my husband in a suit and me in my red dress. And then we went down to the venue in Omotesando, like did an opening speech, and basically just had fun. We just ate, most people drank, we did some speeches, my sister and brother did speeches for me, and also like my husband and I did a speech, which I don't think I made it through my speech because I was just so emotional. It was a rooftop place, so there was lots of beautiful photos of many people, you know, outside. We had a first dance, which was lovely. And there was dancing, of course, like it's my family, of course there's going to be dancing. But I think, yeah, like a nice thing about the Japanese wedding, which you just do not find in a British wedding or like a Western wedding, is that people give money, and it's not even like, not a rule, but yeah, the typical thing of giving 30 to 50,000 yen for someone's wedding. That is quite strange from a Western perspective. But of course, all my Japanese friends were more than happy to give, you know, a little support for the high cost wedding. And also my family jumped on it too. And I wasn't expecting them to pay because obviously they'd flown all the way to this side of the world to be here on our special day. But they contributed, and that was lovely. And we had all these beautiful, beautiful envelopes, which I think we still have because they're just too gorgeous to throw away. And they're just a lovely memory, really. So that's my story of the wedding day. I have done a similar video, more talking about, you know, what we did, but I wanted to share some of these photos with you. And I also wanted to add, you know, the dynamic or the fact that that was the day that we both knew that we were pregnant, you know, so it was like, it was a big, big deal. But in my previous video, I hadn't quite shared that information yet because I was still quite early on in my pregnancy. So clearly you can see now, I'm not early on, I'm about to pop any day now. So yeah, that is my story. I hope you enjoyed. If you are a foreigner who's interested in Japanese culture, please do feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. And if you are Japanese and watching this, please let me know what you think about the ceremony, about our fusion style wedding of having this more powerful spiritual ceremony, and then afterwards having a big party and doing lots of dancing and just being silly, because it really worked for us and we loved it. All right, thank you so much for watching. Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm just emotional again, thinking about what an amazing, amazing experience it was and how grateful I am for it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.